Put it in it. Hi.
Hi.
Holy cow. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you to another episode of the People's Mic. I am Jimmy Peoples, and I am here with our guest for the day. To my left, Miss Laura, fixing your hair, Merli.
Merli, yeah.
Yes,
I'm sorry, I'm trying to touch my hair less, but it's obviously not working.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
You're good.
Thank you.
And to my right, Mr. Gene Getman.
Thanks for having me.
How are you?
Pretty
Judging
good.
my setup here.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, this is the People's Mic, and as you know, anything put together by a communist organization is shitty.
Communist. This could be communist?
Well, it's the People's Mic.
People's,
Yeah, it's a socialist.
The People's Republic.
Right.
Power to the
But
people.
that's with an apostrophe. There's no apostrophe. It's just people's.
Oh, right,
yeah,
right.
That's right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you think it's everybody? No, it's just me. It's just me.
Okay.
It's a selfish endeavor right now.
But it's a play on words.
Yeah, it is a play on words.
You should have like an entire array of people's things.
Yeah.
At the
I was
People's
thinking
Yeah.
about
Mic.
Or you could
podcast.
put in parentheses, Jimmy People's Mic. Like,
No. Why?
because then it's like, it's all about you. Because you're
I
Jimmy
gotta put my
Peoples.
name.
Well, it's kind of like if your name's on something, people are like, "Oh, it's theirs."
But,
like
but
if their name is
I
in
want
the...
them. I want them to forever think Peoples is me now.
Okay, every time they see the word "peoples"
Yeah.
anywhere.
You know what happens when racist guys? There's a racist Jimmy Peoples. And
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, online.
Is he a white guy?
Oh,
He's a
really?
white guy. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
another Jimmy
There's
Peoples.
another Jimmy Peoples.
And he's a racist
He's
white
a
guy?
racist. He just
So he
collects.
also is bald.
He's
I
also
assume.
bald. And, he loves dressing up as Santa Claus and collecting Confederate flags.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, on Instagram. Racist. He has all.
So what? So his deal is like he's a racist Santa Claus, and
Yeah.
he passes out hate.
Yes.
Like,
I don't know what he does.
He buys and sells peoples.
oh no.
But his friends, when they talk shit, when they support Trump, they say, yeah, just like our friend, the real Jimmy Peoples, but then they tag me. So all the time I get mentions of, yeah, like Jimmy Peoples said the other day. I was like, I didn't say anything. I don't agree with this.
You're
And I
like
was
constantly having to release press
Yeah.
releases. Like, I
Yeah.
do not support that.
No. I was like, should I respond to that? But a lot, like more than comics mentioned me, the racist hand of all of Jimmy Peoples' racist friends tagged me a lot.
You can use that. You should parlay that into a career.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the wrong peoples.
The wrong.
Yeah.
Like the movie coming out about the black guy who
Or it'd be like that Chappelle Show's kid.
changing the racist one when he joined the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bixby? Clayton Bixby?
Yeah, Bixby.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
funny.
know that.
Clayton Bixby? That's like one of the best.
Are we
I'll-
allowed?
Oh, I've seen
Huh?
the
Are we allowed to talk?
Chappelle
Yes,
sketch.
please
Yeah.
talk. Please
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
your name first, though.
Yell it.
I was just mentioning the Chappelle Show's
Yes,
kid.
but project.
Xavier Montez.
See, our system is kind of incredibly good at collecting sound.
Oh,
That's why
really?
it sounds really professional. No, it doesn't, but it sounds
Okay.
pretty good when you
You
guys
really
talk.
had me going.
Just speak up. That's all.
I believed you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Let's do the origin story. How'd you get into
Okay. Well, so I moved to Boston for a job like 3 years ago, and I hated the job and was like, wow, I hate my job and I have no friends here. Like, look at that. That's good life move. So I tried a lot of different ways to meet people, but it's super weird meeting people as an adult.
Mhm.
There's just like no context for it. People think that you're weird if you like suggest they go to a second location with you
Yeah.
when you meet them. So like finally I ended up just like signing up for an improv class because a lot of my friends when I lived in New York were like, oh, it's so fun. And I was like, that sounds terrible. I never want to do anything like that ever. But then I tried it and was like, oh wow, this is good. And I had always enjoyed writing. So it definitely took a while, but eventually like I made the jump to doing like stand up and sketch and like pre-written stuff because I was like if I'm getting up on stage and just talking I probably should have written stuff first.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
that's what I've always said about improv. Like if you're gonna get up on stage and talk, you should probably write something first.
Yeah, but there are
Like
some
you
people
go to
who are like
improv
brilliant
just to say-
improvisers. But I would say I'm not one of them.
Does anyone have a suggestion for the audience? Hey, you should probably write some stuff.
We're having an improv group here next week to defend themselves. All right.
I still do improv for the record, but I also do think that it's silly. So I'm not one of those people who's like, I'm offended when people are like, improv is dumb. I'm just like, yep. So am I.
Well, I took an improv class also when I first started.
Yeah.
When I first started comedy, I was like, all right, let me take this class because it's being on stage. You don't fucking know anything.
Yeah.
And
UCB?
no, this was actually in Texas because I started stand-up in Austin when I was there. And I took this improv class at the Cold Town Theater. And it was, they make you play those games, right? Like,
yeah.
to
I
kind of
hate the
loosen you
warm-up
up.
games.
Yeah,
They're like
it's-
icebreakers,
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, it felt like being at like the first day at a job
Yeah.
where the HR department is making you try to bond with each other.
Yeah, and they're like, what's your fun fact? And I was like, son of a bitch, I don't want to have this like competition over fun facts, but inside me every time I'm just like, I hope I win the fun
Right,
fact.
and it's all like a very subtle fucking who can fuck the hot girl. That's basically the contest.
Oh, that wasn't
That's
my
what acting. I took acting class.
Yeah, it
acting
was.
class in college, and I took improv, and that's all it was. It just what girls from this class can I fuck?
Right, the girls are just trying to develop a personality, and the guys are just trying to fuck the hot girl.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. That social dynamic shouldn't exist.
So the guys are not trying to develop a personality.
Oh, they already had a personality.
Did they?
Bad. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
Oh.
No one tried to bone me in my first improv class, which I'm relieved at.
You don't know that.
Yeah.
Because they're too
Never
much
know.
of a pussy beta males to ever bring it up. They probably they've jerked off to you.
I don't know about that.
You took a class with Louis C.K., right?
Whose bit
Oh,
is
yeah,
it
of
that
course.
that she was like, I'm glad I didn't get a text every time a guy jerked off to me. Like,
That's
Is that
sounds
familiar?
like a good one though, but I don't know who it says it.
Amy Schumer.
is that Amy?
Yeah, because she never got a text.
I don't get it.
She would never get a text.
Why? I feel like when all right, we'll get to his. I feel like when you know when guys hit on you when
Sometimes.
and sometimes you're just oblivious.
I probably am sometimes.
Really?
But
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of the time. Sometimes I don't know. It's all like I feel like it's harder to tell when you're really into the person, and then because you're like insecure and you're just like, oh, are they interested too, or are they like, am I just like making up stuff? Like they'll say hi, and you're just like, oh, is that hi in like a sexy way or just like a normal way?
Yo, for real, dude, when I'm at anywhere, even, at my job or whatever, I'm always really awkward because I don't want girls to take stuff the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes they'd be like, hey, and I'll be like, yeah, just whatever. And
Have you
they think
always
I'm-
been like that, or
Well, yeah.
Really?
Because I don't want them to think that I'm hitting on them. Because,
like at work?
or anywhere
Yeah.
even. Because I can't, I feel like
I don't want you to ever think.
if I'm nice to any girl, I feel like they think that I'm trying to hit on them. But also, part of it is that I don't know how to have a relationship with a woman where I'm not trying to fuck her or ignore her.
When,
I would say that is a problem with a lot of guys. Like,
Well, that's why I have such a great relationship with Melissa.
how did
because
that happen?
I get to fuck
Did
her
she hit
and
on you?
ignore her.
Oh, great! That sounds wonderful for you.
Okay, I'm sorry. She's gonna get mad. We've
Yes.
talked about this. Oh, we've also talked about
What's
this.
your perspective on
Goddamn,
this,
I'm sorry.
Melissa?
I just don't listen to him.
You just don't listen to him. You just fuck him and then I'd pretend he doesn't exist too.
Like I said,
sounds great.
sex and ignore.
You ignore each other.
Okay. This is like the first time you guys have communicated in weeks, right here on the podcast.
Bringing people together.
The People's Podcast.
Yeah,
Great.
people. See, it's a purpose. I used to be the wolf. I used to go after them, and then now I just wait for them to come to me. and then
Is that a wolf?
now it's just
A wolf is when you go after them in a pack.
No,
And then-
I'm a lone wolf.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
just a
different
lone-
varieties of wolf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lone wolf.
You're more like a vulture.
No,
That's
I don't get
when
the
you're-
scraps.
No, that's when you fuck a dead lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but you have to eat the remains.
An eater? Fucker an eater?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you know, a vulture. It's when you're like a bird and you fly
You just
around
like
and
Yeah.
you eat a
You
dead
just
person.
sit over a
So
body.
I brought this up to people before. I feel like the animals vultures get such a bad rap because like people are like, oh, they eat dead things, but it's like I would rather something if they're gonna eat a living thing, eat it when it's dead than kill it and eat it. You know what I
That's
mean?
fair, yeah.
Like,
It's already
people-
dead.
Yeah, it's already dead. I think they serve like a nice purpose in the ecosystem, and people like praise lions who like rip something apart that's alive. That's like I don't
That's
want
true.
this. Yeah.
Well, that's actually a pretty good argument for necrophilia, too.
Mm.
I mean, it's already dead. What's the
Why
harm?
not fucking?
You're not hurting anyone.
Yeah, well, like, I don't personally have much attachment to dead bodies. Like, I don't really understand why people get so emotionally attached about a dead body. I mean, I guess I understand theoretically that they're, like, that's still that person, but I think I'm like, it's not, though. It's just, like, a lump of stuff. But I also don't think I could get turned on by a dead body.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it takes a certain type of person.
Yeah, I mean, it's important for people who to be sexually attracted to living things.
What if it's like a really hot dead body and it's like rigor mortis kicked in? You know, it's important for
And
as
it's
a woman, right?
very,
so it needs
like-
to have an erection. So yeah, some kind of.
But, like, feeling the rest of the body being hard in that
And
way
still-
is, like,
Yeah,
ugh,
you're right.
to me.
That would be weird.
Yeah. That'd be weird.
That's like most guys, right?
Have you ever
Like-
seen a dead body?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah. Like, once, outside of, like, a coffin, when I was like an EMT for like a very short stint when I didn't know what I was gonna do.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
me too.
Cool,
Nice.
cool.
Very underpaid profession.
$11
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Wow,
insane.
really?
yeah.
They don't make a lot.
It's that bad?
It shouldn't even be.
I was a volunteer once, so I was doing it pro bono.
Wow.
Yeah, so my first call was a DOA, which is dead on arrival. So I was kind of like disappointed. I was like, oh, I wanted to be able to get in there and do something. I was just
Like, ah, shucks.
yeah.
Can I still try something?
Well, there was like a cop who had got there before us who was doing CPR, but then we realized she had one of those like DNR, like a do not resuscitate bracelets on. And in New Jersey, you're not allowed to stop CPR unless you find the official form that they sign, the legal document. So the call was just us running around looking for this form and being like, don't try too hard. Like, she doesn't want to come back. Because she's like an elderly woman, and like at that point...
What's do not resuscitate? Like that? Is that a religious thing or
Do not resuscitate
just like
is
fuck
like...
it? I'm trying
yeah,
to get out.
yeah. So like after a certain age, your quality of life is gonna be bad if
That's
you
what
come
those
back.
are.
So
That's
they're
like my
like,
life is so shitty. If I
Well,
go, I
but like-
don't.
but like-
It was for somebody who wanted to donate their. I thought that's what that
well,
was.
there's an organ donor thing, but do not resuscitate is like if I just like don't have a heartbeat or a pulse, just like don't try any major life saving.
Oh, like the zapping.
Yeah, don't do that because like, but it makes sense though to me. Like, I don't know that I would do it, but I would like to have the choice when I'm that old. Like, you just think about how miserable you are when like your body's failing, and CPR is so like damaging. Like many times
Break
your
your
ribs are
ribs,
gonna break.
yeah.
You're gonna be in the hospital. Odds are like you'll never get out of the hospital, and you'll just die with all these tubes stuck in you.
That's
And,
hilarious, actually. It's just like, look, just don't.
Yeah, just like-
That's like the sentiment. That's what I just
Yeah.
say. Just don't even bother.
Okay, so a really disturbing fact that I've been like writing this thing about, it's not fully formed yet, is that, so I learned on that call, a lot of elderly people, because they don't want you to be looking everywhere for the form, and a lot of times they pass in their sleep, will frame it and put it above their beds. So they'll sleep under.
At some point, you just replace the picture of your grandson with the form. This is more important to me now.
What? Oh,
sorry.
yeah, come
No,
on
it's
in.
okay,
Come
you
hang
can come
out.
in.
Dude.
Or don't, whichever you feel more comfortable doing.
I feel like you would add to this.
Just make a fucking choice.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Look like somebody who gets yelled at a lot.
Yeah.
Nice pants.
Yeah.
Can you walk in front of the
Say
camera
that
so they can
too.
see those pants?
Yeah.
Yeah, just walk right in front. Yeah, look at those fucking pants. Oh,
Those are cool.
what's your name?
Bo.
Bo? Hey,
Bo.
Bo. How are you?
Good. I apologize.
No, you're absolutely fine.
No, this is the podcast.
Don't-
Yeah,
don't
I
knock-
did that the first
cool.
time I came here too. So it's like I feel like
Rites of
we're
passage.
one and the same.
The
Yeah.
podcast is we do a podcast while people coming in not sure what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now sit down and shut the fuck up.
They apologize, we apologize, and
Can I
then
just add something to that? Do not resuscitate. Do not.
yes, yeah.
Alright, so basically,
Say your name.
Michael Lee, you have to be in your right mind. You have to be alert and oriented.
Yes,
Make
to
that
sign the
decision
form.
To
Mhm.
sign that form. And it's scary because you have to make that decision early on in your life, like in your 50s or yeah, exactly, or your 60s.
Oh, that's-
it's like to say, I want to die at 50. Don't fucking resuscitate me. Do not put any tubes down my throat. It's really, really scary and awkward too. And I've had to have witnessed a lot of those signatures at work. So yeah, it's very awkward. It's
It'd
very
be funny
awkward.
to like forge one of those forms and just stick it in somebody's car. I mean, who's really going to check at that moment? They'd be like, oh, there's a form. Well, it looks like a scribbly signature. I just print like hundreds of those and
Just
put them on people's windows when they're parked.
And,
You are exactly what the GOP is afraid of.
Wait, is that good?
Whenever there's those debates about like euthanasia and stuff, they're always like, well, what if somebody is like making
Oh,
it up?
yeah, well, it's always like-
what if it's
Like
yeah.
trans people in the bathroom. What if some guy goes in dressed as a woman? I would totally do that. That's the first thing I thought of. I'm going to go in and watch some chicks take a dump.
I just go in. I go into women's bathrooms.
I do too,
I just
actually.
run-
Yeah.
That's what it means, right? Gender neutral.
yeah.
It means anybody can go in.
Well, so what is your motivation? Just to
use the bathroom.
okay. Well, then that's
I
whatever.
go in-
Well, no,
like,
but
your
if it's a
motivation
multiple
is to-
people bathroom,
Yeah.
right, with, where you share the bathroom and there are stalls. I'm not going into a women's room and, taking the dump next to some lady.
I did that.
But that's crazy. But if it's like a male bathroom and a female bathroom for one person each,
Oh
that's
yeah,
stupid.
one person I think is always fair game. If it's one person.
You shouldn't even delineate. Just
Yeah.
have two
I
bathrooms.
do both,
Yeah.
and I get stink looks every time.
Yeah.
I don't care.
As soon as I come out here, I can't. She was like,
Assume.
like look.
It's like just take a dump.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're both in the most vulnerable situation.
And it's like, the reason you would have one or the other, I mean, there's no real, if
Reason,
there's,
no.
yeah. The reason is, I think, that people expect men to be more disgusting, and so women shouldn't have to deal
I
with
think
that.
it's also just that people of opposite sexes feel awkward shitting in front of each other.
But they're not in front of each other. It's a single person
I
bathroom.
really wish that single person bathrooms. Yeah, I think are just like a weird thing. I was talking
Women
about
have
stalls.
killed way more people in bathrooms than men.
Killed
They would
people.
kill-
Yeah.
What do
Like
you?
babies in toilets.
Oh, right.
Yes, the most
Prom
ridiculous thing
babies.
I've ever heard.
That's my idea of what happens in a woman's bathroom.
Would be trying to leave
Yeah,
These babies.
it's so annoying when I can't find a good toilet because they're all clogged with babies.
All these babies sitting
Yeah.
in the toilets. Coming out of the toilets.
I'm never dropping a baby in the toilet.
It's just babies all over the bathroom.
And that's the name of this episode.
Babies all over the bathroom.
Don't drop the
prefer
baby in the
GNR.
toilet.
Babies.
Did you do your origin story? Did we get to that? How'd you get in the
You
college?
said
Oh.
you were saying you started in
Started in
Texas,
Texas.
that you did an improv class too.
Yeah.
And they kicked you out?
Well, I've always said it this way, that I, started comedy because I was just delusional. I was just like, oh, yeah, this is... You know why I started comedy? I was like, oh, I don't want to have a job. I want to make... Yeah. I was like, a job? Yeah, why would I have a job when I can make money doing stand-up comedy? And here I am, 6 years later.
6 years? Maybe
Yeah, 6 years,
6?
man.
Nice.
Yeah. 6 years later, 6 jokes later.
That's right.
6 jokes.
Yeah, 1 joke per year. That's what
You
I'm.
should do that from now on.
Yeah.
Just-
Well, by the time I have my hour, I'll have a do not
20
resuscitate
years?
bracelet on stage behind me. It's gonna be my Netflix special.
Yeah. You're like, if I have a heart attack in this moment, that's the right moment
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
what is pissing you off about this country? Politics or not? When did you wake up this morning and say, what the fuck?
Oh my God, there's so many things to choose from that it's difficult to
Yeah.
choose.
Yeah, the first one. Boom.
The first one, I'm gonna have to say that like still in 2017 there's like moves to restrict abortion, even though there's like a million other things. I'm gonna say that one is like a real thorn in my side.
At least we still got bathrooms.
Yeah, we still got
what?
bathrooms.
Yeah, we still got bathrooms. News.
We'll always have the bathrooms.
Yeah, I'll say that's the
Come in, we're talking about
Did you-
that's
Yeah,
one.
come
Yeah.
Did you vote?
Yeah.
You did vote?
Well, no, for
For the
why was Trump
which is
running again?
fast. It's,
The
did, you,
primary.
did you vote?
I did not. I still need to
Good
get
job.
re-registered in New York.
In New York.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did not.
You
I
did
I'll
not
say
also.
that out loud. I don't give a
Okay.
shit anymore.
About well, for you, is it
Hello.
because it's like local election or
Yeah.
is it
Yeah.
okay? Just
Yeah.
general.
When I went to vote for Trump, it was me and one little old lady in
You
Jersey.
voted for Trump?
No, I didn't vote for Trump.
Oh.
I almost did. I almost pressed the button, and when I touched the button, I felt the earth shake, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't do that and stop fucking around. And, but and then I was like, I'm not going back. I'm back to my old ways. I'm sorry. I'm not
Okay.
sorry.
No, you don't. You can
I'm sorry.
be sorry or not
Well,
sorry.
Jimmy Peoples did vote for Trump, I presume.
Yeah, Jimmy
Yeah,
Peoples
the other
definitely
guy.
voted for Trump. I gotta ask. I should try to get him on this show. Would that be weird?
That would be
It
amazing.
Probably would be.
Then it
weird.
really would be
Yeah.
the Peoples
Yeah, the
with an
Peoples.
S and a comma and a S.
I mean,
like-
maybe you can find some common ground.
Yeah. we'll do a
Together.
show. I don't want him to be
It's
like
like-
violently racist.
Obviously, yeah.
And
You
then-
can be violently racist.
Yeah, I could too. I mean, he's an old guy. He's got to be like 60, 70
Dude,
years old.
do not resuscitate.
Yeah. What is yeah, go ahead. What's pissing you off?
It's pissing me off about this country. Oh, man. I think really the name is bothering
Just
me.
the name.
America. What the fuck is that?
It should be changed by now, right?
Yeah.
To what? What would you change it to?
It should just be the United States.
The people's country.
Yes, I'm waiting for that. Soon.
I like just saying the
So-
states. The
States?
states, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that's
looking at
A lot-
China.
A lot of
China's
like Europeans say that,
Right.
and I'm like, sounds right.
Yeah, but you don't have the
United
accent to say it. People are like, yeah, I'm from the States. From the fucking States.
That's it.
I say whatever I feel, and sometimes it doesn't make sense. So I'll go with the states.
Oh, let's name it the States. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's name our country
Are we
the
voting
way.
on that right now? Is it?
yeah.
Yeah, we're like it's like choosing a band name.
what do we call this? America's fucking
I
sucks.
like Estados Unidos.
That's good too.
No, actually, that is what it would be
Spanish.
called.
Are you Mexican?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. I don't know
Wow,
what
that's the
that-
only reason he knows that.
You
Yeah.
know, I like
That's the only Spanish you know.
I like Gringolandia. Gringoland.
White land?
Gringoland.
Gringoland?
Whitelandia. That'd be awesome.
That wouldn't really help for feel safe and.
Isn't that Iceland? Isn't
unified.
Iceland like white land?
But it'd be a good,
Most of Europe is
oh yeah. Definitely.
How about you rape?
Did you hear it? I feel like you're saying things and you'd be like, yeah, I just said that. I said that.
Yeah.
I did.
Not
and then
good.
it still tickles you. It's like, oh.
You rape.
He's like,
Huh? Come on.
Not feeling it.
We don't. The views and whatever. What's the disclaimer?
I mean, you're the one who owns the disclaimer.
I forgot. Yeah.
Wait, whoa.
It would be like the views expressed in the people's podcast.
Yeah, there we go.
Do not
Yeah.
represent anything.
Thank you.
Don't
Don't
represent
represent
anything.
We don't represent shit. All right.
We
So
get together and
say-
just have insane stream of consciousness ramblings.
Ramble. That's all this is. And one person's watching because we have one viewer.
Oh,
Yeah.
one
who?
viewer.
One
That's
viewer,
exciting.
yeah.
Who could possibly not want to watch a podcast at 2 p.m. on a Friday?
Somebody. This is one person, one lonely fucking soul.
It's actually me on my phone.
Is that you? Well, thank you.
Ball's pointing in the right direction.
My dreams have come true.
What's your favorite word?
Oh, my favorite word.
Yes.
I'm so bad at remembering words. Yeah, I say sweet a lot. Because it's just
Sweet?
like a good,
That's real 80s.
yeah,
It's
sweet.
the long
Well,
sweet.
but I don't say sweet. I say sweet, like with an exclamation point. Not like that either. Like, sweet. Yeah, not like a troll. Just like a
Fucking
good,
troll.
just like a good straightforward sweet with an exclamation point.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, first of all, I think this question is a setup for me. Okay? You just asked
You
her
think
what your favorite
every
word is to ask me what
question
my
is a setup.
favorite
Yeah.
word is, knowing full well that I can't say.
Okay, but so say something that you want to say, or that's appropriate to say.
Well, my second favorite word
Okay.
is love.
Oh, love.
You're gonna be the first person banned from this fucking show.
I've been banned from every show I'm on. Basically,
Get the-
I'm banned
Would
from
my
the open
favorite
mic.
word be the smiley face emoji? Is that a word?
For your generation, it is.
For my generation, it is.
You're
For the-
millennial,
I'm
right?
a millennial.
You're a millennial?
Yeah.
A millennial. What's
Born
your
in
favorite?
88.
What's your favorite word? Is that a millennial?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I thought it was 90.
No, it's 89 through
Had this discussion.
I forget, mid 90s, something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, I don't.
Yeah.
What's your favorite word during sex?
During sex. So I'm not a big talker during sex. Like unless I like want someone to do something differently, or then I will like say it, and just like in a straightforward, descriptive way. Because I don't like the like whisper voice that people do a lot. Because I'm like, I can't hear you. I don't have good hearing. So and then it ruins the moment if like someone's like trying to say something sexy, but they're like, and I'm just like, what?
You ever like sweet?
Sweet.
How would you say somebody's doing something you're not really into? How would you put it to them to do something to not do that?
I would probably. Well, it depends on what it is. No, because I don't do anything that's like intense enough to have a safe word. But like, I would probably start with like just like physical cues of like moving in a different way.
It's like a mind psych.
If you can't see me, I'm pretending to be in a box. Yeah, and then like. Or it's not necessarily that I like don't like something, but like I would like something else better. And usually, people, yeah.
Well, how do you mime that?
How do I mime it? I
Tap out.
Well, I feel like I can't really demonstrate anything here without being actually like
Do it.
pornographic. No, thank you. But yeah, just like suffice it to say that like mostly physical cues, other than like something just like straightforward. Like, yeah, can you do this? And they're like most of the time like, okay.
Have you said that? Like, that's a weird moment during sex where you're like, you actually bring about the fortitude to directly say to the person, can you do this?
It is.
It takes like a
but I
lot
don't
of.
say it in like a mean way. Well, like, but I think like as a girl, you kind of have to learn to do that, which is like it's very stressful and anxiety-inducing, definitely. But like, I feel like everything that you ever hear in like movies and stuff is about like how to please men, and that's starting to change. But so like you know, you have at least some idea of what to do with a dick, even if you have never done anything at all. But
Like what?
a lot of men
what do you
don't
do
have
with a dick?
any idea
Listen,
what
you
to
know
do
what to
with
do?
like.
I know what to do with a dick.
But
Get that
every
shit
like
out of my
human.
face. Just swat it like
Get out of my face!
like an angry cat.
You like my nails? No, but it's not like I'm saying, oh, I know everything about dicks, because like I appreciate it if like I'm doing something that's like not what they want and they say something.
Quick, 5 facts about dicks. Go.
5 things. Do you play that improv game?
Yeah.
This is actually directly from my Improv 101 class.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna decline that because I feel like we would be getting into less funny territory and more just like me saying needlessly sexual things.
No.
Or
No,
you
he was
just
next.
add
He's
up-
definitely going next.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
You go first.
What are we?
One fact about dicks?
No. Well, what are we? What did we start talking about?
Here's one fact about dicks. She doesn't know anything about them.
Oh, thank you.
Clearly.
Would you rather? All right, go do your I forgot what the question was. Oh, what's your favorite word during sex?
Well, I also don't really talk much during sex. I don't think I have a favorite word. Maybe, that counts as a word.
I guess.
My favorite utterance during sex.
How do you spell it?
Oh yeah, oh baby.
How many years have you been doing comedy?
3.
3.
Yeah.
And how do you feel you do so far?
How do I feel I do
Is that a
so
stupid
far?
question?
No, it's just like a lot. Because like, because I mean, I feel good about doing comedy overall, but you never get out of the like sometimes you eat shit phase. Like even the really well-known people who I look up to, I've still seen them like totally take a dump on stage sometimes, and like I still do that regularly. So it's like it's continuously like extremely gratifying, alternating between being extremely humbling.
Yeah, it's actually a crazy psychological twist to it because you can watch someone do really well and your opinion of that person is, oh, that guy's hilarious. Even somebody who's already made it. But then you watch him do shitty. Even somebody who's famous, right? Like Mark Norman, for instance, just as a completely off, out of the blue reference. You see him do well, like, oh, maybe he's not that funny after all.
Yeah.
It's crazy how your brain just believes whatever the last thing is.
Man,
And
I
the same
saw
thing
Bob
about yourself,
one time
too.
and then kill another day, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, and you totally believe it every time.
Yeah.
It's like you
Yeah,
get screwed.
totally. I've seen people do the same jokes in different rooms, and one room love it and one room hate it. And when the room hated it, my brain really did pick up on like that negative energy and like enjoy it less.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like, oh, well, so that the bombing happened first, and then I saw the good show and was like, oh, these are funnier than I thought they were.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy about yourself too. Like sometimes you do really well. You're like, I am the fucking shit.
Yeah.
How could I ever not be funny?
Yeah.
It's that idea. And then you bomb. You're like, how could I ever be funny?
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's the first thing in my life that I would say I am, even though I'm not advancing at a crazy rate or anything like that I am regularly making progress and taking steps where like almost everything else I've ever tried, it's just like I'll try for a little bit, kind of suck at it, and then be like, whatever, I'm leaving. I didn't want to do this anyway.
Let's do questions. You guys have questions? You want to do questions? Yeah. What?
5 minutes before.
Thank you, Five.
Thank
Jimmy.
you, Bungo. Yeah.
Jimmy, my man.
What is up?
I just want to say hi.
Hi.
I
You
hate
guys
you.
are beautiful.
Okay,
Oh, thank
do
you.
it.
Thank you for expanding my mind so I don't.
I got
fucking-
questions.
What is? Okay, thank you, Sonny. What the fuck was that? Whose uncle is that?
Since you
He's
guys
my uncle.
since you guys look so good, what type of moisturizer facial regimen to use? I'm asking. You asked for a question.
Yeah, I'll take
That is a good question.
That is a question.
I'll defer to Jimmy.
Okay.
I drink a lot of water and cocoa butter.
Cool. Good choice.
Yeah.
You drink
I'm
water?
guessing you don't drink the cocoa butter.
No, I
You
don't
put
drink
that
the
on
cocoa
your
butter.
body.
If I could, I probably would.
Yo, black people are crazy.
Jimmy, you're a racist for using cocoa.
Have you been
butter.
drinking today?
I want you to know that.
Have you been drinking?
I mean, he's
Are you
currently
not
drinking.
looking at his hand?
Oh, he's currently drinking. I was like,
That man
that can't
has a
be your
beer.
regular voice. That's 5 drinks in. Like, how did they not cut you off yet? All right.
Thank you.
Another
for the
question?
notice.
Question? Shoot. Anybody?
I didn't. So you guys are both stand-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's 3 of us up
Yeah.
here.
Sorry, no. I didn't.
Just you guys. I don't know what the fuck. This guy's with that guy.
You guys are doing a couple years. What's the best way to combat just like keeping the jokes fresh in your mind? Like you've done the joke a million times. Like you're confident in its delivery, but the overall like excitement coming from you, because you want to convey, like you want it to be like the first time telling it, obviously.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the move, because that's a good question. Because I can't do a joke that I've been doing. Like you think of something new, it starts working. Like, oh shit, this is like pretty good. So you keep doing it, and then you keep doing it, and then you do it some more, and it eventually just kind of wanes because your excitement about it and the way you tell it starts to change because it's not really authentic anymore. So what I do at that point, I just stop telling the joke, and
Throw it away.
No, I wait a little while until I feel kind of better about it.
Sometimes it's okay to take time off of a joke and then bring it back if it feels really stale, or even sometimes it's okay too to like mix up your set. So I find that like if I change the order that I say it, I become less like, oh, I'm doing this again, because I have to like think harder of like, oh wait, when does that come?
Yeah, there's that, and you can say the joke itself in a different way. That's why I never write anything down. I just try to capture the idea of what I want to say in my head and just arrive to it with natural speech, which is how you actually talk. You have an idea of what you want to convey, and then you make words to convey it. So
I personally am not articulate enough to do that. Like if I just don't, if I'm
But
like,
you're
oh,
doing
I
it
have
now.
this sort of. If I have this concept in my mind, I usually will have to like write it out, and then. But it is exciting, just like trying to think of more tags to the same old stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good too. You give it up for a while, you bring it back.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, why was I saying it like this?
Let it
can
rest.
definitely.
Let
Yeah.
it rest.
Yeah.
Then I'll do a lot of crowd work, but then when I do crowd work, it'll refresh the joke.
Yeah.
And then because it's in the moment, that joke will seem fresh again.
Yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
how like anybody who's
So-
really, doing that on the high level, you rarely see people who just do it A to Z their material. It would be like,
Yeah.
you kind of crowd work it a little bit,
Absolutely.
throw in a joke over there, makes it seem.
I love when you're
authentic.
hosting or doing crowd work and somebody says something that like makes you think of a planned joke that you already have, and it like looks like you just thought of that on the spot,
Yeah.
but little
Oh, yeah.
did they know you did not. You've been saying that for years.
Well, Judah Freelander's special just came out, which
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
good.
was great.
It's good. Really.
I've seen him a bunch of times, and most of that stuff that seems like crowd work is stuff out of pocket. I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost none of it, I think, is truly on the spot. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's stuff from years of
Yeah, just doing
talking to people and doing
Yeah.
doing exactly that, because you get crowds, but it's always the same types of people, the same.
Yeah, I mean, how
you
many
know,
different
and then
variations?
You already have that bit. Like if I already talked to Sadik, I know he's an asshole.
Mhm.
So I already know what's going to come out of his mouth. So.
Silly.
Where can we find you on any other questions? Questions? Good, do it.
Do the three of you feel like you like each other more or less than when you started the podcast?
Her like more, still less. No, I'm just kidding.
Less than before, or
Yeah,
the
no,
same less?
Less than, every time I see you, it's just less and less.
I actually like you more because now I know there's a racist version of you somewhere.
Yes, and you're gonna find him. There's if you're out there, racist Jimmy Peoples, reach out to me at I'm not giving my email.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, hit me up because I can finally be
Yeah.
friends with
Yeah.
Jimmy
All
Peoples.
these people know your wife.
Tag into there's another Jimmy Peoples and he's racist. And you missed that. And I don't know who you are, but You're eventually going to get kicked out. So.
There's actually another Gene Getman,
Is it?
and he's a
You guys
successful
look at-
engineer.
Is it?
Good for him.
There is
He's
a,
in Boston.
there's a bunch of James Peoples, but
Mhm.
Jimmy Peoples. There's only like a couple of us.
Surprised
There's a gospel singer, Jimmy Peoples, too.
Wow.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, he's. I'm not gonna say he's terrible.
Well, it looks like people are starting to get anxious
Yeah,
for the mic.
What is?
so...
Where can they find you online?
Okay.
Don't segue. Dude. Fuck them. Fuck them.
Just saying.
Start a half an hour late. All right.
I mean,
Where
that
can they
would be
find you
nice.
on social
Okay.
media?
Facebook, my name's
Yeah.
Laura Merli, Merli, and on Twitter, I'm at Passive Abrasive.
Nice.
Mm.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Instagram, I'm also at Passive Abrasive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Website.
LauraMerliComedy.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pinterest.
Don't have Pinterest.
See. You actually get points when you say what social media you get, and everybody fails at Pinterest.
Oh, what can we exchange the points for? What are?
Time.
Oh.
Really?
Fucking don't know. Where can they find you online?
No, don't do that. Just don't.
What?
No, don't.
Nothing.
I don't do
What are you
that.
promoting? Are you doing anything? You got
No.
a website?
No,
I
don't.
fucking hate you. I hate you to the core of.
No, seriously, don't.
Don't
who cares?
follow
Nobody
Gene
cares.
Getman anyway. He's never gonna make it.
Yeah.
He's got.
You know what? If I do anything interesting, you'll hear about it. So.
Whoa.
It's another episode of the People's Mic. Thank you guys for listening. Give it up for them. You can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Plus, YouTube, Blog Talk Radio, and Spotify. No, not Spotify yet. Fuck Spotify.
It's a good thought.
It's good. Thank you. And follow our page, People's Mic Podcast. Thank you. Give it up for yourselves. Thank you.
Yay.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.